Alright guys, in this example here we're trying to determine if these triangles are similar. We're not telling you they're similar, you have to eventually reduce the ratios and find the angles. So in the first one it says we have side, 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 right? I like to try to start these by picking a shortcut over here. We have one of these three shortcuts that we're going to pick. And the first one, yeah, I'm going to do side, side, side as my guess, if you will. So I'm going to use side, side, side similarity. Now that means if I have three S's, I'm going to make three ratios. So I might as well just do 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to do the part everyone forgets. We're going to take the smallest number over here, the 6 on this guy, match it up with the smallest number, 10, over there on that guy. So let's see, we'll write 6 over 10. Continuing that pattern, pick the next biggest numbers, a 9, and then a 15 over here on this guy. We'll write 9 over 15, and then 12 over 20. All we're going to do is reduce those. 6/10 reduces down to 3/5, right? 2 goes into each of those. Then the 9/15 reduces down to 3/5, and another 3/5. Seeing as our three ratios are the same, 3/5 for all three, that means they are similar, and our shortcut is side, side, side similarity. Now, for the second example, we have two sides marked on the one triangle and two sides marked on the other triangle. Clearly we're missing sides over here, so it would mean that we don't have side, side, side. We also don't have angle, angle, as if there are not two angles marked congruent or given us information. But we do have a set of angles that some of us are forgetting, right? Right here in the middle. These vertical angles, those guys are congruent. So what we end up having is side angle side. I'm going to write that down as my example. I'm just going to get an idea, right? Well, now that I have two S's and an A for side angle side, two S's tells me I better have two of these ratios like this written down. So I'm going to do two of those guys right off the bat. 1, 2. I'm going to match them up the same way I did before, making sure I take small number from this triangle and putting it with a small number from that triangle. So 10 over 15, and then 12 over 20. And I'll reduce them just like I did before, right? And I get 2/3 up here, and down here I get, I don't get the same thing, do I? I get 3/5. That doesn't match. In order for them to be similar, I must have two ratios that actually match on this problem. I have the angles, and I would write the angles as being congruent. I might as well do that. So I have angle SOH. It's actually congruent to angle UOT. So I have that part. But I have to have these two guys matching also for there to be side, side, side. So what that means is I do not have similar triangles. Therefore, I do not have a shortcut that I write down. And I write not similar. All right, on these two examples, we're doing the same thing. It would be beneficial for us to have some letters up there. So we'll just put P here, T here, L there, M here. Sorry about that. And an N there. Make this easier here. Let's see. Well, once again, let's figure out which shortcut are we going to use. One of these three guys over here. I'm going to give you a hint here. I'm going to pick SAS, right? We're going to hope it is. Let's see what we come up with. It's clearly not side, 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 as in we're missing this side. And probably not angle, angle. Well, let's run with it and see where we go. Two S's means two ratios. So once again, there's one, there's the other, and now I have to match up the sides. I think, personally, it would be a lot easier if we redraw this little triangle right here. We redraw it. So I'm going to put a 3 here, a 6 here. Could put the letters there too, why not? P, T, and L. That's going to give me a lot more to work with. I'm going to figure out that the whole big side of this guy is 5, and the whole big side of that guy is 10. It's going to make things a lot easier for me here in a minute. So I'm matching up now. Small number from the small guy, small number from the big guy. Notice I'm not using the 3 or the 2. I'm using both the 3 and the 2 for the whole length of that side. I'll write that down, 3 over 5. And then the same thing over here. Now I have small number for the 6 on the small guy, and then the 10 for the big guy, not using the 6 and the 4. So I'll write 6 over 10. When I reduce those two, well, this guy just stays 3/5, right? And this guy becomes 3/5. So unlike the other problem where these two didn't match, here they do. And now I'm just left with writing that the angles are congruent. What's that angle that's congruent? One angle is congruent to another angle. Ah, it's that shared P, that common angle up there. That's right. So we can write this a couple different ways, I guess. We could just write it from the one to the other. How about we call it M, P, N, right? I just went M, P, N. And we're going to do the same thing over there. We're going to go L, P, T. Just L, P, T. That way there, it's the same thing right here. So now that we have ratios that are the same, and we have congruent angles, we have a shortcut SAS. Over here in the second example, we have these arrows that remind us that those lines are parallel. So let's run with it. Let's see. We have 3 shortcuts to pick from still. Looks like we have side information, but not enough side information, as in we'd probably need a second side on this triangle over here to match these up. So we have no side, side, side. No side, angle, side. Must mean we have angle, angle. So I'm going to shoot with angle, angle to start. And I know what you're telling me is, right, we have this angle here and that angle there automatically congruent because they're vertical. And then we forget what those parallel lines mean. Well, we've been telling you all along, parallel lines most likely means congruent angles. You just have to find those congruent angles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this. I know we all have seen this before, right? And we're going to draw that transversal going through it. I don't care which one ever you want to draw. We'll draw this one. So I just drew this line, and then this line going through it. And I'm going to match up these alternate interior angles here and here. And those are these angles here. There I have my angle, angle. 2 pairs of angles from each one. Now I just have to label those real quick and easy. It would be helpful to have some letters, so once again we're going to put some letters over here. So why not put an A there, a B here, a C here, maybe a D over there, and an E on that one over there. Make this easier. Let's go. We have angle A, C, B, congruent to angle D, C, E. Those would be my vertical angles. Then I'm going to do the other set that I just found. Angle A, B, C, congruent to angle E, D, C. Once I've listed 2 angles as being congruent, one from each there, I have my shortcut angle, angle. No ratios needed, no numbers, nothing like that for angle, angle.